Brain, can you imagine Donald Trump standing up one day and delivering a State of the Union address?
Well, I can imagine it in a Saturday night skit. I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
He will never be president of the United States.
Donald Trump will never be elected president of the United States.
Now, Donald Trump is not going to become president of the United States.
Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Ever respectful of the fact that the people have not voted, he's not going to be president of the United States.
Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States.
Let's be clear. Donald Trump will lose the election.
I have one thing to say, one thing only, and that is that this race is over.
I think Donald Trump will be the nominee and will lose badly.
No one's going to be happier than President Obama when Trump loses. No one, except for me.
I think that Donald Trump's campaign is over.
Like it's a zombie, right? Like it's a walking dead. It's not...
There's nowhere for him to go.
And the fact that most people think Donald Trump is going to lose probably means Donald Trump is going to lose.
When the inevitable happens, which is a very substantial landslide victory on November 8th.
And we need, when this race is over, to talk about why that was. I personally think this race is over.
To me, this race is over.
Politico's latest survey of political insiders agrees, quote, Clinton will crush Trump in November.
Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
No. Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States. President Obama is the ex-president. And Mr. Trump, for the moment, steps up.
This is library.
Hello everyone, welcome to This Week in Stupid for the 22nd of January 2017. What a glorious day it is. So we are obviously going to talk about President Trump's inauguration and how it has caused some of the best SJW meltdowns I have ever seen. In fact, this street art really sums it up. Autistic screeching as Donald Trump offers to give the US government back to the people and away from the SJWs. They hate it. I love it. I love that they hate it. It's about time these people fucking lost. And that's how they feel. That's exactly how they feel. In fact, let's just start at the beginning. Let's start with his speech. I'm not going to play massive clips from it. You can go and watch all these things if you already haven't. But this was the reaction. Donald Trump plagiarized Bane in his inaugural speech. God, I just don't care. I literally don't care if he lifted it word for word, which he didn't, and let's be fair, he didn't write this speech anyway. But anyway, he says, "We are transferring power back from Washington, D.C. and giving it back to you, the people." My Bane impression is terrible. But for too long, our small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while the people have borne the cost. That is, actually it is quite similar to Bane's speech. We take Gotham from the corrupt, the rich, the oppressors of generations who have kept you down from the myths of opportunity, and we give it back to you, the people. That's the one line, that's the one part that actually is the same. But this is actually a really good populist message. And the thing is, this is something that really should happen. A democratic government shouldn't be for a few select elite people. And the SJWs who are benefiting from this know they're benefiting from it. They know they're benefiting in a special way from something that is excluding other people. They know it. And they are so fucking selfish that they don't want to give it up. They are determined not to. But 2016 was the year that they lost, and 2017 is the year that we see them after their defeat. This is how it's going to be for the rest of this year. I mean, they have to understand this. Brexit is coming. Le Pen is coming. These things are coming. They are going to lose. And one day, the annoying, whining SJWs will have to accept the problem is with their ideology and the left in totality. And it will have to change. But until then, let's just laugh at their tears. More specifically, Hillary's tears. Hillary, the face of the vanquished. Clinton just endured one of the most painful rituals in politics. If it was Clinton's unhappy task to just sit behind and to the left of Donald Trump as he took the oath of office as the 45th president, she bore it with her usual stoicism and cast-iron discipline, despite a smattering of boos when her name was announced. Well, you know what, Hillary? I think I would have a lot more sympathy if you hadn't spent the entire campaign lying, cheating, and manipulating events behind the scenes. If you hadn't tried to actively subvert democracy in your own party, and had the media entirely on your side, and flown them around with you on your fucking campaign jet, I think I would have more sympathy. But you had everything behind you, you still had to cheat, and you still fucking lost, to the tune of $1.3 billion. Suck my fucking cock, Hillary. You deserve to lose. You deserved it. Cheaters cannot be allowed to prosper. You can say whatever you like about Donald Trump, and I'm sure it'll all be true, but as soon as you say, well, he doesn't deserve it, he didn't win it fairly, you're wrong. He did win it fairly. He campaigned as you should, he did what was necessary, and he won on that merit. He at least didn't cheat. And I just have to point out, what the fuck is this? Did she have to resurrect Bill Clinton to come with her? He looks like a fucking zombie. I was watching most of this live as it happened on Twitter, and so I kind of missed the media reaction to this. So I'll probably do another video talking about that specifically. But as far as I could see, all the media reaction is basically, look, here's some protesters starting fires in the street, with journalists taking obsessive pictures of one burning garbage can. Why? Yes, some protesters have set this on fire. This isn't a great statement. This isn't some sort of raging against the machine of tidy, neat, litter-free cities, unless that's part of the communist revolution, which honestly it might well be. In fact, I will talk about something regarding the media, and that was their just embarrassing attacks on Donald Trump's youngest son, Barron Trump. Barron Trump will be mutilating cats on the White House lawn in like 2 weeks. Oh yeah, that's appropriate, isn't it? That's not... The kid's 10 years old. Barron Trump counting the minutes until he climbs a clock tower with an assault rifle. You realise you're attacking your political enemy's children because you don't like Trump's policies. Or probably not even his policies, probably just his attitude. And the best one was this. Katie Rich, a Saturday Night Live writer. Barron will be this country's first homeschool shooter. One of those things that just pissed so many people off that she ended up deleting her Twitter account because so many people were like, you are a piece of shit and you need to be told this. This is a fucking kid who is now in the public eye, and what you do is attack a child. It's fucking disgraceful. If I ever start making snarky tweets about someone's kid, come and kick my ass on Twitter. You fucking come and tell me, because these people are the people who have been staring into the abyss for far too long and think that just anyone politically connected to Donald Trump, even his own kids, are fair game. My favourite Twitter faux pas came from professional nosepicker Laurie Penny. This is a terrifying speech. The biggest cheer of all came when Trump promised to wipe out, quote, Islamic terrorism. What's wrong with that, Laurie? Are you in favour of Islamic terrorism? I mean, you realise that sounds like you support jihadis, you know, and I think that secretly deep down you might. Obviously she backpedaled on this because she realised, well, hang on, it does kind of make me sound like I support ISIS, doesn't it? Another really amusing one was an old one from Sally Cohn, which was from 9th of November 2016, where she says, my sense is that if Trump wins, Hillary supporters will be sad. If Hillary wins, Trump supporters will be angry. Important difference. Sally, let me just show you a clip of Richard Spencer, the alt-right's neo-Nazi poster boy, getting randomly assaulted by a communist. That's right, Sally. He wasn't causing trouble, he wasn't doing anything other than giving an interview, and he's randomly assaulted by an Antifa/communist protester. The sort of person you would be defending. because you are a fucking hypocrite and your side is the side that is instigating the violence. We can see this, and what's worse is that you are making me defend Trump and Richard Spencer. People in another alternate universe where you idiots don't fucking exist, I am having a wonderful time laughing at in my videos. I would be having a whale of a time just mocking Richard Spencer and Donald Trump. I would love to, but you are so much worse, I can't. And you lie about these people all the time, you physically assault them, and I have to fucking defend them because that is the decent thing to do. Starting violence is not, and then pretending like they are the ones who are going to start the violence. Jesus fucking Christ. The closest I could find is Gavin McInnes having a bit of a scuffle with an Antifa protester who wanted to fight. That was from the deplorable a few days earlier, but I know I'd get stick if I didn't include it as some evidence of right-wing violence, even though, I mean, this is so fucking minimal, and what the protesters do is so much worse that, I mean, I don't think these are on the same fucking level. But, like I said, I've included it here for completeness sake. Look at this banner in the background, though. White lives matter too much. What kind of wonderful people say that? Do people's lives really matter too much? I thought the idea was black lives didn't matter enough. But I guess it's just a revolving door. It's all swings and roundabouts, isn't it? So anyway, here's some more of Sally Cohen's peaceful protesters creating a big garbage fire in the middle of their protest. You'll notice that they're cordoned off by the police at the north there because they're violent and dangerous. And I'm not being hyperbolic or outrageous or even unfair when I say this. There is an organised group of communist revolutionaries taking part in these protests that are turning them into riots that are getting people hurt and property destroyed and all this sort of thing. Here's a selection of clips.
Just trying to confuse the hell out of the cops. Oh, it seems they've got them cornered. Okay, let's not get in the corner here. Oh! Okay, they're throwing stuff. Let's get back over here.
The group's reforming. They're going to charge the police line.
You think they're going to charge the police line?
That's why they're grouping up. The cops are moving in from behind them.
Okay, so apparently they're bulking up, and they're going to charge this police line right over here. They had knocked over bikes before. Okay, so they've got riot police behind them and police on bikes in front of them. I think they're probably going to go for the police on bikes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they're putting on gas masks. They've got shields. Now the criminals. Where are we going? We want to get the footage from up here, please.
Are we moving? Oh, look.
No. Oh, they're putting milk on their faces.
Isn't it nice that you've got a communist street gang doing violence and smashing property, and it got to the point where the police had to actually use force to break them up? It's so progressive. We the people burn out someone's limo. I mean, Christ, you're pretty silly to leave a limo laying around, but yeah, we the people are going to burn your limo down because that's what we do. We don't respect property rights. We don't care. Eat the rich. Urgh. Angry face. These people are a fucking cancer. In fact, do you want to see how much of a cancer they are? Look at this fucking flag. Look at this. The LGBTQP intersectional symbol and the communist fucking flag in one. Just fucking... This is top fucking cancer. This could not be more cancerous if they tried. And here's another version of it from the protest itself. These people actually exist. We have actually got a problem with communist street gangs and calling themselves Antifa, and they need to be stopped. They are violent, they are dangerous, and they have to be brought to heel. And this will be something Donald Trump will have to do. And they will say, oh my god, Donald Trump's being a fascist. How dare he oppress us? Oh, look at this. Fascist oppression. No. You've done this to yourself. Any regime, any government would have to do this. Whether they were authoritarian or libertarian or what, they would have to prevent you from doing this. They have an ethical duty to stop you from hurting people and breaking their stuff. They have to do that. It's not fascist or authoritarian to do that. It's ethical. I mean, I don't suppose it matters to them, but like, they're throwing explosives, feces, bottles full of nails, and multiple police have been hospitalized, but of course they don't care. At least one patrol car had been flipped and set on fire, several officers have been injured in the attacks and have been transported to hospital. Around 100 people have been arrested so far in the riots, but there are hundreds more violent rioters who continue to attack police officers and have lashed out violently at any perceived Trump supporters. Doesn't matter though, it would be fascist to oppress them, wouldn't it? They're just expressing their progressive right to fight the power. This is democracy. This is not democracy, and I'm so sick of hearing people say, well, you know, it's a democratic obligation to go out and protest. No, it's a democratic obligation to vote. You have every right to protest, but you're not obliged to protest, and your protests aren't going to achieve anything other than creating the situation for a crackdown on your movement because you are violent sociopaths, and you just can't stop it. I'm just saying, you are the ones creating the conditions for your own oppression by the fact that you can't be responsible. You go out, hurt people, destroy property. Both of these things are completely unjust, completely unacceptable. And this whole revolution thing, no government is going to allow you to overthrow it. You are making them suppress you. If you were peaceful, if you petitioned, if you went out and, I don't know, spoke to people, try and persuaded people around to your point of view, maybe you wouldn't be oppressed, and maybe it wouldn't be an ethical duty to suppress you. But it is, and it will become, and this will happen to you, so fucking get used to it. But I tell you what, you're going to see more domestic terrorism from these people, and just remember that after Islamic terrorism, the second most common form of terrorism in the entire world is communist terrorism. And now we're seeing it. So don't be fucking surprised. Communism is a cancer. It's worse than fascism. And this is something, again, I've seen a lot on Twitter. Oh, well, the Nazis are racist. Yeah, well, the communists are just literally anti-everyone who isn't a communist. They literally don't care. It's them or everyone else. And they will do anything they want, and they will kill as many people as they want, as history has shown us. The Nazis don't have a fucking patch on the communists, so shut your fucking mouths. You are following a dangerous and archaic ideology, and you need to be stopped. And I'm saying this as a liberal who sees communism as a worse threat than fascism. But that's only because I'm just looking at the amount of property damage and lives endangered, and weighing it up and going, well, hundreds, and presumably tens of thousands of dollars, and none. I mean, I literally haven't seen one of these fascist neo-Nazis endanger anyone's life or smash anyone's property. If you can provide it, leave it in the comments, and I'll put an update on the video. I'll put an update in the description. You can see me going, hey, I was wrong. There was just something I wasn't aware of. But until I see that, the worst I've found is Gavin X-Punk McInnes scuffling with an Antifa who wanted to fight him. That's the worst I've seen. We should probably check in with the white supremacist capitalist patriarchy to see what their opinion of these communist rioters is.
Follow the law, and they can exercise their First Amendment rights peaceably. That means they're not destroying property. That means they're not tearing up trash cans. That means they're not setting fires. That means they're not picking up bricks and throwing them at my officers or at each other. Because we are also concerned that in this mayhem, one of them may be injured. So what we want to tell them is to exercise their rights. They can have their signs. They can talk about any message. They can talk to each other. But stop destroying the city.
Stop destroying the city. Stop attacking people. Says the black female mayor of Washington, D.C. But fuck it. She's some sort of Uncle Tom, isn't she? She's an Aunt Jemima. She's a collaborator with the evil Nazi regime. These people are lunatics and they have to be brought to heel. There's no getting around this. Because let's be honest, if a black man can become president of the United States and a black woman can be the mayor of Washington, D.C., and you have dozens and dozens of black authority figures in, say, Baltimore and all these other sort of places, it's obvious that the white supremacy isn't doing a very good job of holding black people back. It's almost like it's not trying at all. So if you're not actually being oppressed, maybe you should just pretend. Maybe you should just make it up. I guess you could get some chains, put them on you, and walk around and march and pretend like you're being held back because of the colour of your skin.
This morning with my mind, stay on freedom.
What was that? Do you think you're going to be sent back to the fields or something? When I say sent back to the fields, I mean you've never been to a fucking field and picked cotton. You've never been a slave. You're probably in university, judging from your age and what you're doing. And you are literally not being oppressed. You're painfully middle class looking. So what the fuck is going on? But yeah, so if you're not being oppressed, you may as well just make it up. Pretend. Cling to it, because that's how you get currency. Victim bucks. And so now we move on to the second kind of protest that happened. Because the first one was just the protest at Donald Trump's inauguration on the day. The second one is the Women's March that happened the day after. Now this was a completely different animal. These people were not Antifa, they were not communists, or at least not regular communists. And they weren't being violent and hurting people and throwing rocks and Molotovs and whatnot. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to paint all of these people as the same, because I'm not. These people are pretty much harmless and totally hilarious. In fact, the headlines that the press came out with were just perfect. Women's March crowd expected to be 5 times larger than Trump's. I know they mean the numbers, but they are all feminists. And because they're all feminists, the Women's March on Washington will be the largest gathering of people with disabilities in history. Mental health is a real issue in the United States, you know. I'm sorry, I'll try and get myself under control. Oh, give me a minute. So the Women's March was broadly innocuous and totally hilarious. Here's an example of the crowd being 5 times larger than Trump's crowd. The struggle is real. A struggle against reality. A struggle against the stairs. A struggle against the lure of McDonald's. Jesus fucking Christ, at least get a Diet Coke. Come on, make the effort. This was one of my favourites. We the People, with a picture of a woman wearing a hijab that's the American flag. I mean, it really makes it sound like they want to enslave women into Islam that's just given an American washover. And the thing is, there was a post going around that Laylo Dagash said on Twitter. There was a Muslim woman who had written to him going, look, I spend my whole life fighting against the oppression of having to wear the hijab. I have to wear this. I don't have a choice. This is not a liberation, a garment of like women's liberation. This is a garment of women's oppression. And these gormless twats are just sat there holding this as if they know what they're doing. As if they have any conception of what it is they're actually fighting for instead of supposed to be fighting against. It's just madness. And that's when the protesters weren't just simply objectifying themselves, and I literally mean reducing themselves to objects. Pussies in formation. Not women in formation, not people in formation. No, you've reduced yourselves to just your fucking vaginas. That's the only important part about you from what you're telling us. All we think about when we see you is, right, okay, these people are obsessed with their own vaginas. And I mean, I'm not joking either. My favourite libertarian meme is the no step on snack meme, and I love this. No step on vag. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on my vagina. Oh my god. You are more than just your reproductive organs. You are more than your reproductive organs. Whoever has put it into your head that literally you should just be like, my vagina, on a sign, is not doing you a service. They are doing you a disservice. I've got to say, I particularly liked the ones that just weren't grounded in reality at all, like the various Harry Potter ones. Without Hermione, Harry would have died in book 1. It's fiction. Let's be honest, J.K. Rowling would have written it some other way that Harry would have survived to the very end, because it's his fucking series of books. Trump is Voldemort, but we are Harry Potter. The cringe. The unfathomable, unbearable cringe. You are not Harry Potter. He is not Voldemort. You just simply have a difference of political opinions because you don't care about the people Trump represents. You only care about yourselves. I think this one is my favourite though. Make them pay for razors if we pay for tampons. Who wants to tell her? Who wants to be the first to tell her? Selena would go, we do pay for razors. Just what the fuck? Do you think that men get government funded razors? I mean, this is how entitled you are. You think, and I love this. This is exactly how you think. You think you are entitled to these things for free, and therefore you think that men already get them for free because we live in a patriarchy. No, men don't get these things for free. I mean, if you were saying tampons aren't a luxury item, and so reduce the tampon tax, I'd be like, yeah, I totally agree, actually. Tampons aren't a luxury item. Same with razors, they're not a luxury item. You should reduce the tax on them because they're necessary groceries. They're not luxury items, but that's not what you've written, because I really don't think you understand what you're talking about. No, I was wrong. This is my favourite one. White supremacists started calling anti-Trump people snowflake. It's a Nazi term referring to dust from the crematoriums. Where the fuck did you get that? Dr. Kelly Senholes. Where did you pull this from? What crevice did you jimmy open then rip this out of? It's from Fight Club, you dummies. You are not a special and unique snowflake. You are the same decaying organic matter as everything else. And because you melt at the slightest touch of heat. Fucking hell. Oh my god, this has just been... The Keck is smiling upon us, my dudes. So these women's marches happened all over the West. They didn't happen in Africa. They didn't happen in Asia. Didn't happen in the Middle East. Didn't happen in India. Didn't happen in Siberia. They happened in Europe, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and America. Because that's where the women have it the best. And I'm not joking, this is literally, if you look at like a HDI map or something like that, just any metric of women's quality of life, this happened in the countries where women have the best quality of life. I mean, these people, they weren't interested, there were no protests, there were no marches outside of like the Saudi Arabian embassy or anything. No. Why would there be? That might be giving a shit about someone else. These women were only marching for themselves. In fact, some enterprising young chaps went down to a march in London and interviewed a selection of people as to why exactly they were there, what they were doing. And here's a selection of their responses. I just went through and got the initial line or two where they said they just state why they're there. I've left out the explanations. If you want to go see their explanations for why they're there, the links will be in the description. But these are the reasons that these people have turned up.
We're marching because we agree with equality.
I just love your mum.
Well, don't we all love our mum? I'm sure even Trump loves his mum. Come on.
Your Mother Earth.
Our Mother Earth?
Yeah.
What's the relevance of that to Donald Trump?
Because Trump is anti-environmental.
So what's from your heart, why are you here?
To stick by each other, solidarity.
Bearing in mind he's just been democratically elected, what do you think these protests will achieve? Do you think they will influence American politics?
I don't, but I will just, since I don't have a say, I definitely feel as though we need to speak up and make ourselves heard. We have to
Fight Islamophobia. Do you think Trump's against Islam?
Yes, quite seriously.
Tell us.
He's against anyone that isn't a white man.
So, I work for Married Service International, and we do family planning services in 37 countries around the world.
We're just interested in as to why you're here today.
Well, it's just I'm very concerned about the bees. I'm very concerned about what's going to happen to them.
This is the weekly report. We've noticed Unite Union are here. We're wondering what the connection is with Trump.
Okay, we are
Because
here.
he's not in the UK, so how does he affect our employment rights and all that?
Unite is here in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in America.
Right, can I ask why you're here today, first of all?
Because fuck Trump! He's a dickhead. He's rapey. He's racist. He's a fucking dick. He's homophobic.
How is he homophobic?
Yeah, that's
have you not heard all the shit he's saying? Like, also,
What
just like.
No, give us an example. What?
Okay, well.
I've never heard that one before.
I have no. I'm not going to give you a specific quote because.
But you can't give us a quote.
There's like
But you
okay,
just
so
said
the new White House website. There's no LGBT.
It's a bit unfair if you say it and I've got no example.
There's no LGBT column whatsoever on the new White House website.
There's no what?
LGBT page.
That doesn't make
They just took it off. They just took it off. Racism, obviously, in all of his speeches, he's like, Mexicans are rapists, all of this.
Yeah, but that's not homophobic.
No, yeah, but also, like, but in a whole...
You just hate him. You said that he's a
policy?
Republican, really. Is that what it's about? You just don't like Republicans?
Do you oppose his
No, not
policies?
at all.
Thanks, boss. Why you're here today?
Well, we're obviously against Trump, and the reason is I think that where he is at now, the status he has is going to affect our generation all over the world, regardless if we're not American citizens. So we just, and the things he said, to send a message around the world to the youth as well. Like, just because we're not American does not mean we're not on your side. We're supporting.
So, useful idiots propagandized against Donald Trump, meaning feminists. Professional activists who are working in solidarity with their brothers and sisters in America, and people who are environmentalists. These are the people that make up these protests, at least in London. I don't know what they're like in America, because I haven't seen any interviews of people from America, but this was what the protest in London was like. Pretty fucking pointless. Absolutely pointless. I mean, the people barely even seem to know why they're there. They haven't got a coherent message or a mission, and a lot of them didn't really seem to know why they were there at all. I mean, they seem a bit uncertain. Just seems like a fun, cool, fashionable thing to do, doesn't it? So a lot of the regressive activists on Twitter who want to take themselves seriously and actually say, well, look, I have a rational reason for what I'm doing, said, well, I mean, abortion rights. Obviously, this is all about abortion rights, even though none of them said that it was about abortion rights. But can President Trump undermine abortion rights? Not so fast. After Trump nominates a justice to replace the late Antonin Scalia, the Supreme Court will remain 1 or 2 votes short of a majority to send abortion decisions back to the states. Experts on both sides of the issue agree. There's a long road ahead and many obstacles, says Clark Forsyth, acting president and senior counsel at Americans United for Life. This will be a religious right pro-life organisation. Even if the court eventually reverses itself, he says, the issue would go back to the states, most of whom have repealed their pre-Roe prohibitions. The question being, will Trump be able to overturn Roe versus Wade? The answer being, no. And that was from ABC News, a fairly neutral organisation. But if you go to, like, extremely lefty, feminist-friendly publications like Mother Jones and Glamour magazine, even they're saying Trump can't overturn Roe, but he will still be a nightmare for abortion rights. A new front has opened up on the war on women. Donald Trump can't overturn Roe versus Wade overnight, but he can severely limit your reproductive rights. What do they mean? Well, the worst Donald Trump will probably be able to do is defund Planned Parenthood, as in, taxpayers will not be paying for abortions. You will have to pay for your own abortions. I have some bad news for you. This is not Donald Trump infringing on your rights. This is not you losing the right to get an abortion. This is just you having to pay for your own abortions. And, I mean, if I've got to pay for my own razors... I think it's worth pointing out that the Women's March left a whole lot of mess of people just leaving their signs strewn around when they left. They didn't care, they just thought they'd throw it around because, let's be fair, it's probably a man who's going to have to clean that up. There really aren't that many female street cleaners, but that's not the kind of equality that feminists want, so why would they even care? So, I just want to point out that this is all very reminiscent of the Tea Party and Obama's elections. For example, this is from 2013. Here are hundreds of thousands of people protesting Obama's inauguration in the Capitol. Completely normal. This is what Americans do when the president who is their ideological opposite achieves power. This is just totally normal. And calling him a Nazi is also totally normal.
The Nazis had the brown shirts. Okay, Obama has proposed, and I keep hearing him talk about it. He wants to have a nation of, 2 million citizen army, armed as well as the army?
Well, he's talking about an army of volunteers to do volunteer work, right?
If they're going to be armed...
Well, I don't think they're going to be armed with weapons.
They're going to be armed as well as the army is.
What I'm saying is that Hitler was a good speaker. He turned a lot of people on with his eloquent speeches, and so is our current president.
What do you think, in your view, what is fascism here? What are you trying to tell us with your sign?
Well, if fascism is a form of socialism, I would believe. I mean, they're all intertwined. Communism, fascism, socialism, they all have a little bit of each. They borrowed from each other.
So yes, this is absolutely no different. Calling the new president a fascist, saying that he's stolen the election, that he's going to steal your rights, that he's going to kill people, round them up, put them into death camps, any kind of hysterical nonsense that you can see coming out of the Women's March also came out of the Tea Party. Although the Tea Party may well have had a more legitimate cause for concern. But it's the same feeling, it's the same motivation that's pushing these people to do it. It's the same kind of ideological investment in this movement. And honestly, I think that this Women's March will become very much like the Tea Party. As in, the majority, the large portion that go down, they'll turn up for the first march, a large portion will turn up for the second march, and then a year or two down the line, you'll still have the hardcore of women's marchers who are still desperately opposed to Donald Trump on a deep ideological level and will never let it go. And they will continue to be annoying as shit for the whole time. I mean, this may well give birth to a feminist political movement, specifically feminist political movement, or women's political movement, like the Libertarian Party coming out of the Tea Party, and actually forming into something, but that's years down the line yet, so I'm not going to worry about it. Seriously though, is there a great deal of difference between the 2009 Taxpayer March on Washington and the 2017 Women's March on Washington? It's just people who want to have their voices heard, people who believe in a certain kind of ideology, have a certain kind of mission, a certain kind of idea that isn't going to be embraced by the new administration, and they want to voice their displeasure. There are going to be people saying, well, yeah, but the Libertarians didn't go running around and smashing, and to those people I'd say, yes, but you're mixing up the communists and the women's marchers. The communists were the ones running around smashing things, the anarcho-communists. The women's marchers weren't doing that, so let's not paint them both with the same brush. They are actually really similar to the Tea Party. They just walked along peacefully, said stupid things, claimed that the new president was a Nazi and a fascist, and that he was, coming to take away their rights, and then that's it. And I need to take a really deep breath before I come to the end of this video, and the very final thing that just... Oh my god, this fucking triggered me. I was just... On a deep-seated level, I couldn't get over this. This really fucking pissed me off. So brace yourselves. This was a tweet from Bernie Sanders' account, and I know that Bernie Sanders doesn't do the tweeting himself, but it's his name, it's verified, he chooses the people to go and tweet in his name, he can take some fucking responsibility for what they say, because he has signed off on it. President Trump, you made a big mistake. By trying to divide us up by race, religion, gender, and nationality, you actually brought us closer with 300,000 retweets. Fuck you! Fuck you, Bernie! Fuck off! Trump did not try to divide you by race, religion, and gender and nationality. You are the cunts dividing people by race and gender! It's a fucking women's march, Bernie! Fuck! God, this is I'm totally triggered by this, I swear, right? Holy fucking shit, this is just an abject rewriting of history. Just complete rewriting of the entire narrative, and this is what will go down in history. This is what people will remember. Bernie Sanders suggested that Donald Trump was trying to divide everyone, but it didn't work. This will be the thing that gets into the fucking history books. 300,000 retweets. Fuck you. Just fuck off. The left does nothing but identity politics. I mean, do you not even remember when you came out in opposition to identity politics? That is the process of dividing people up by race, religion, gender, and nationality. Fuck you, Bernie! Fucking hell! What's this, Bernie? Sanders slams identity politics as Democrats figure out their future. What does that mean, Bernie? It's not good enough for someone to say, I'm a woman, vote for me. No, that's not good enough. What we need is a woman who has the guts to stand up to Wall Street, to the insurance companies. You mean to stand up for the issues, Bernie? Not just on the identity of being a woman. The thing you fucking slams, you know it comes from the left. You fucking know it. I mean, what's this?
When you're white, you don't know what it's like to be living in a ghetto. You don't know what it's like to be poor. You don't know what it's like to be hassled when you walk down the street or you get dragged out of a car. And I believe that as a nation in the year 2016, we must be firm in making it clear. We will end institutional racism.
Oh, we wouldn't want to divide people on race, Bernie. Oh, no, we wouldn't want that, would we, you fucking cuck? I hope sucking Hillary's sulphurous cock was worth the third house and the private jet that I don't even think you got for your fucking campaign, only to get fucking screwed by the establishment, Bernie. I hope it was fucking worth it. I hope you sleep well at night, you fucking sellout.